Hi guys, welcome back to the Library of Alexandria. And today, I am not sick anymore. Glory be and the saints be praised. So, this is part duo in Latine of the 25 questions tag. You'll note that my part 1 was like over 30 minutes, and I only did 12 of the 25 questions, though question 25 is tag some people. And so, I've broken it up, and I'm just, and without wasting any more time, let's get down to business. Let's go ahead and get into the back half of this tag with question number 13. Favorite movies / TV shows. Okay, we're gonna be here forever, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and buckle the seatbelt. So, my favorite movies, I have 3 favorite movies, and the first one is 1776, which is a musical about the Second Continental Congress and the writing of the Declaration of Independence. It is starring William Daniels, which most of you know as Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World. Mr. Feeney!
Right here, Mr. Matthews.
As John Adams, and this is really where my love of John Adams came from.
Thomas, for God's sake, listen to me.
So, first of all, this musical, I grew up loving musicals, I've always loved musicals, etc., etc. But this holds the record for the longest break without any kind of music in any Broadway musical. There's like 20-something minutes after like these, there's 5 songs like in a row, and there's like 20-something minutes of like debate in Congress. It's really, really good, but there's no music at all.
Why have you joined this incendiary little man?
I discovered this musical because when I was in AP US History in 11th grade...
Calling me a madman, you fribble!
Miss Fowler, bless you, Miss Fowler, she gave us an extra credit assignment. We were on the, the Revolution unit. If we rented and watched 1776.
Are you calling me a coward?
We had 3 blockbusters, yeah. Yeah, guys. Blockbuster.
Yes, coward!
We had 3 blockbusters in my town, like one in my town and one on the beach, and then one, it's another part of my town, but it's like east.
Madman!
Anyway, there was one, and it was in Callaway, over in the east, and my dad rented it.
Landlord!
And I watched it, and oh my gosh, I loved it.
Lawyer!
And so I kept having my dad recheck it out, like, repeatedly. And so everyone who wanted bonus would, like, come over to my house and we'd watch it, because there was one copy, and I had it. And then I brought it to school, and we watched it at lunch for those kids who, I didn't want coming over to my house. And so, yeah. So I then bought the VHS and wore it out. And then I had another VHS, and then I bought the DVD, and then they released the extended edition DVD, which has an extra, 30-something minutes of scenes, including one of the songs, Cool Considerate Men, which President Nixon made them cut when he listened to it because he thought it was making fun of Republicans. And it wasn't, but also, you're the president. Calm down, bro. It's just a musical. When the president does it, it's not illegal.
That when the president does it, that means it's not illegal.
Okay, Nixon. Anyway... Now, I just recently was tidying up my DVDs, and I'm like, I gotta get the Blu-ray version of this thing. I gotta get the Blu-ray of 1776. It's so good. Anyway, my second favorite, or not my second favorite, these are all like equal. Another one of my favorite movies is Remember the Titans. I don't know, guys, I have never sported. I am not a sports person. I am not good at physical activity that requires hand-eye coordination and perhaps running. And so, but I've always loved inspirational sports movies, and this is why what makes me like cry as an addendum to the last video. I tend not to cry at character deaths. I cry more, like I weep more, or get like emotional more at like inspirational speeches. And so, inspirational sports movies, that's all that's about. And Remember the Titans is my absolute favorite. I still quote Remember the Titans with some regularity. I say that I'm a mean cuss all the time, which is what, Boone says. He's like, I may be a mean cuss, but I'm the same mean cuss, no matter which kid I'm talking about. So I say mean cuss all the time. My kids don't actually know what that means. I say, it's not fun now, is it? I say, whenever my kid asks, my students hate it. They know it's a rite of passage. They know it's going to happen. But a lot of times when they ask if they can go get water, I say water is for cowards. Water makes you weak. water is for washing blood off my uniform, and you don't get blood on my uniform. You must be outside your mind. We are going to do up-downs until insert student's name here is no longer tired and thirsty.
We are going to do up-downs until Blue is no longer tired and thirsty.
Or my favorite part is, Titus, you call this game fair, or I'll go to the papers. I don't care if I go down with you, but before God, I'll see every last one of you thrown in jail. You dig your own grave. All right? On me. Forget about him. I don't want them to gain another yard. You blitz all night. If any one of them gets past the line of scrimmage, I'm taking every last one of you out. You make sure they remember forever the night they played the Titans.
You make sure they remember forever the night they played the Titans.
And it's so good. It's so good. It's so freaking good. And, you know, Ryan Gosling before anybody knew who he was. And then, of course, my other favorite movie is a movie called The Emperor's Club that no one's ever seen. If you've seen The Emperor's Club, please say something down below. It is starring Kevin Kline, and it is a better Dead Poet Society. Yeah, that's right. I don't like Dead Poet Society. I don't think it's that good of a movie. So, dislike, how dare you?
Hold your nose and close your eyes.
It's fine. You know what? Fine. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Whatever. I don't like poetry. But Emperor's Club is about, it is a very similar premise. So it's about a classics professor, like an ancient civilization professor at an all-boys prep school. And he's been there forever, and there's this Mr. Julius Caesar contest at the end where the top 3 kids in the class, like, they compete head-to-head answering, like, trivia questions about what they've learned over the years. The thing is his domain, and he's, the most well-respected professor on campus until the son of this senator shows up, like, late in the year, and this kid is a douchebag. Like, this kid is just a rabble-rouser, doesn't think any of the rules belong to him, he's a chucklehead, doesn't take anything seriously, he sucks. I hate him. And his name is Sedgwick. That's a stupid name. If your name is Sedgwick, I apologize. It's not stupid in real life, it's just dumb in this movie. So, it is so good because it is about virtue and character and about who you are as a person matters more than the things that you're going to do. In fact, one of my favorite lines is at the beginning where,
because great ambition and conquest without contribution is without significance.
and it's so good. It's so good, and I look for that on Blu-ray, and they don't even make it, because no one's seen this movie. But if you've seen it, please comment below, because I love this movie. I watch it like once a year. It's amazing. As far as television shows, so, I like Friends. I've seen Friends a bunch. How I Met Your Mother. I've seen How I Met Your Mother a bunch. I watched all these things when they were, like, on the air. House MD is probably my favorite television show. I've seen all the seasons so many times. I loved 24 back in the day. A lot of things me and my buddy Finn used to watch together. Like, you know, we'd call during the commercials being like, oh my gosh, what's happening? House was one of them. 24 was one of them. We used to watch American Idol. These are not my favorites anymore. Things I watch now, Modern Family, my wife and I are working through. Golden Girls is an amazing show.
Quiet, you trash.
What else? What are other shows that I like right now? Money Heist is great. Oh, Doctor Who. I really like Doctor Who. David Tennant is the best Doctor. Sorry, Leslie. Anyway, I could talk about this crap all frickin' day. So there you go. I have spent, I'm sure, over 10 minutes on just this question. Boosh. Number 14, describe yourself using 3 fictional characters. There was a time, I actually had to do this, like, there was like a Facebook meme or something, like a long time ago, back when I was mean, like, you know, a decade ago or less than, I don't know, a while ago, back when I was still mean. And it was like, it was like me, obviously, Sheldon from Big Bang Theory, Dr. House, and Tulio from Road to El Dorado. Because I was mean and brooked no foolishness. And that's not really the case anymore. I'm much nicer, and I stand for things that aren't being douchebags to people, or just not understanding that I have Asperger's. So now it's much more of Samuel Vimes, because I am a class warrior and believe that there must be policemen for kings, and that if the law does not apply equally to every single person in a society, it's not justice, it's tyranny. So you can go ahead. Thank you, Sir Terry Pratchett, from the mouth of Sam Vimes. Falcio from Greatcoats because outraged idealism, also me. And then Senlin, slightly less. Senlin from the Books of Babel, slightly less. I'm not as bleh and clueless as Senlin, but that kind of introverted nature of not liking to go to parties where I don't know people and would much rather be like reading my book in the corner, and the fact that, you know, I would probably, if lost as well, would probably be like, hey, so fun fact, why don't I instruct you about this thing, rather than just embracing like, oh crap, this sucks. So Senlin slightly less, definitely more Falcio and Vimes with, you know, tempered a little bit by Thomas Senlin. Boosh. Number 15, what was your dream job? So when I was young, my very first job that I wanted to be a paleontologist because I wanted to study dinosaurs. I loved dinosaurs back when I was a kid. I know I've said that on this channel before, but if I haven't, I love dinosaurs. There's this like meme online where it's like, you know, the worst part of getting an adult is that no one asks you what your favorite dinosaur is anymore. And that, I mean, that's true. Like, think about that. That sucks that you're never asked what your favorite dinosaur is anymore, which was like, you know, a defining thing. Like, sides were drawn based on what your favorite animal was. Because my favorite dinosaur being T-Rex, which is, you know, super basic, but the T-Rex is the best and always has been. I didn't hang out with herbivore people. Like, oh, my favorite's the Apatosaurus. Get out. Go chew on some grass. Like, you don't get to hang out with the carnivores over here. Allosaurus is fine. Some people who like Deinonychus, that's fine, because that's what we called velociraptors before a velociraptor was a thing. Deinonychus, same thing, probably from a different period, but got the claw thing. So, yeah, but I wanted to be a paleontologist, and then I wanted to write. And that's what I did really most. I wrote all the time. I used to write all the time. In class, I met one of my best friends because he was sitting in front of me because we were sat in alphabetical order in high school. And he turned around and was like, what you writing? And I'm like, who are you? He said, what you writing? And I started talking about it. And he's like, oh, it's cool. And so we just started talking, and now, you know, we're still friends, which is freaking awesome. So I wanted to be a writer for a long time. And, you know, I still have some of those aspirations. It's just hard, and it takes a lot of time. I wish that I still had my high school brain where it's just like I could write all the time. It didn't matter if it was trash. I'm just like I could just pencil and paper, throwing sheets into the air, done. And I still have some like hidden away in like my yearbooks or something. Every time I clean house, I see them, and I'm just like, man, I read a lot of D&D books. That's what it sounded like. Because this is what I read. You know, you kind of write with the voice that you read a lot. So yeah, that was my dream job. My dream job now is to is anything that doesn't require me to be in the classroom, or, you know, a classroom where kids come and listen, and I can teach them, and they pay attention, and I don't have to grade them. They just pay attention and they learn, and I don't have parents and admin and a bunch of people making terrible decisions for my classroom. So I don't know. That was my dream job. I'm not currently in it, though I am very fortunate that I, as someone who has Asperger's, get to talk about my special interests as my job. And that's not everybody, so that's pretty cool. That sucked. Boosh. 16. If magic was real, what spell would you learn first? That's another weird. What was the weird question from last time? That was like, that had no bear. Oh, what simple invention changed? Whatever. If magic was real, what spell would you learn first? So if magic were real, and this is the same thing with superpower, the spell I would learn would be freaking teleportation. Because, guys, so much time and money is wrapped up into travel. And as I've said before, journey sucks. Destination is better. You hear that? You hear that, Brandon Sanderson? You hear that? Destination before journey. Destination way over journey. You can cut out the crappy journey part, the traveling part, the costly part, the uncomfortable part. Teleport. And if we're going by second edition rules, if you have been there before and you can imagine it, you can visualize it pretty vividly in your head, you have a 99% chance of success and not ending up, you know, in the earth or something. So I, having been to Rome multiple times and knowing what the frickin' Trevi Fountain looks like or the Colosseum looks like teleport, boom, 99% success rate. So, you know, and even places you haven't been, you can get a pretty high success rate just by looking at a picture or having someone describe it or whatever. Busch Gardens, I know that place like the back of my hand. I go to Busch Gardens every day. and hang out with the orangutans. So teleportation would definitely be the spell that I would learn first. After that, I would probably pick Astral Servant, and he could grade my papers. Though I guess a regular servant could fill that role. I don't know. I don't suppose it has to be astral, but I don't think there's a summon regular servant spell. Anyway, those are my answers. Where's my cards? Boosh. Ah. Number 17, share a favorite childhood memory. So, my favorite childhood memories, I was a happy kid. Like I was a happy kid, and then as I became a teenager, I was no longer a happy kid. But some of my favorite memories are when I was 5. I think I already said this. I flew out to Olympia in Washington State by myself to visit my grandparents who lived out there, and they took me to this. They always took me to this dinosaur museum, and there were like these moving animatronic dinosaur things, and you had a little card and you would stamp it at each one of the exhibits, and that was super fun. I remember that pretty vividly. But just hanging out with my grandma in general, I learned how to read from Wheel of Fortune, watching Wheel of Fortune with her. She taught me about dinosaurs and was always reading to me, and so those are really, 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 really fond memories. Me and my cousin, who's like 2 years younger than me, she's a year older than my brother. We love to read, so when they lived in Alabama, we go hang out with my grandparents over the summer, and my poor brother, who's like a year younger than Laura, he got left out because he didn't like to read, but me and Laura would like sit outside under a tree and like read, and poor Ryan didn't have anything to do because he didn't like to read, so he's like hitting stuff with sticks. Also in 5th grade, when I was in 5th grade, there were, at recess, and you can't do this anymore because everyone has a bee in their bonnet, but my oldest friend is named Lisa, and she is actually turning 40, like, soon, like this week or something, or maybe, depends. And we've known each other since the 3rd grade, since 1989. It's ridiculous. But in 5th grade, Lisa hit a growth spurt, as did my other buddy, Rad, and he also hit a growth spurt, so they were giants, and the rest of us were tiny. I didn't hit a growth spurt till this much, like maybe 7th grade. But in 5th grade, so we would run around, and this was a carryover from, the earlier years. We fight during recess, because it was freaking fun, or break, I guess they called it. But because Lisa and Rad were huge, they fought each other, so they would run around and fight, but then like all the other girls, because it was just me and Rad for the guys, all the other girls would chase me and fight me. And we did not pull any punches. I had a big old stick, like a branch that had fallen off a tree. And man, I must have like whacked some of those girls like in the shins. Like we would throw rocks. I know for a fact I got hit in the head with more than one rock by these girls. One time they caught me and they pinned me down on the ground and they just shoved dirt and leaves in my hair. And I'm like, Rad, assist! Tasquete! And, he's busy punching Lisa in the face or something. We fought a lot as children. It was super fun. Like, no one got mad. I was just like, crap. Guess I lost this day. And then the war would start all over again the following day. Those were good times. Number 18, favorite social media platform and why? I don't like social media. It is not Twitter. Twitter is a cesspool, and you all know it. Literally, the only reason I'm on Twitter is because most like of the authors I read are on Twitter, and like the publishers are on Twitter and are the most responsive on Twitter. That's really it. It's only for like channel stuff. I don't like Twitter. I don't post anything on Twitter that isn't, hey, I have a video up, because I hate it. And everyone, like the collective bees in the bonnets of everyone on Twitter is out of this world. It's just like it's like an apocalyptic apiary. It's absolute madness. Facebook is, I used to like Facebook back when it showed like all of your friends' feed, but now I can refresh it and I still see like the same 7 posts. Like Facebook is just a joke now. It's stupid. And I post like pictures of holidays there. Instagram, I post stories. Like, I like Instagram stories, but it's YouTube. YouTube's my favorite social media platform, and that's because I make videos here, is why. Or Discord, if that counts. It's a messenger, so maybe that counts. But if Discord counts, it's Discord, because that's where I get to actually freaking talk to people. This is, it's a dumb question. Unless someone says Twitter. Like, this question is really just designed to root out the Twitter lovers. Boo. Ow, boosh. Number 19, if you could pick any book character, who would you spend the day with? Man, I'm just going to say Commander Vimes. I'm just going to say Captain Samuel Vimes and go solve crime. But maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should say someone else. The problem is that most of the books that I really like are, you know, there's always a war going on, and I don't really want to go to war. So, you know, I'm going to say actually a new one. I would say Conrad von Wald from Justice of Kings, coming out in February 22nd of 2022. First book in the Empire of the Wolf trilogy by Richard Swan. Go pre-order that if you haven't, and stay tuned for my video. It should be out. My review of that should be out next week. Regardless, I think, like, I was gonna say Falkio, but Falkio's constantly like almost being murdered, and Falkio doesn't do a ton of magistrating, mostly because of, you know, the state of the Tritari. Like, they're not, the Greycoats aren't super respected. But Von Wald, as a magistrate, does the stuff that the Greycoats used to do back when the king was alive. So I would actually really like to hang out with Von Wald and learn more about being a traveling magistrate. I think that would be a blast. And if not, Commander Vimes, and we'll go around Ankh-Morpork and... No! The Patrician! I want to hang out with the Patrician and learn how to do his job and learn where the bodies are buried. Any of those answers would suit me fine. Why do I keep setting these down? Boosh. Number 20, what's your spirit animal? An orangutan. Because I love orangutans. Because if I'm not explain why I love, like, for the childhood memory, I should also talk about going to Busch Gardens. Because that's why I still go to Busch Gardens all the time, because I loved it as a child. And the reason I love orangutans so much is because when I was there as a kid, there was this orangutan who had a paper bag, and he was down at his little moat, and he was scooping up water in his paper sack, and then he'd pick it up and he'd look in it, and then he'd do like this. So he understood that this bag holds, like, a container holds water, but he did not understand that paper is a porous material. So he'd sit there and look in it, so he'd do it again, and he'd sit there, and he couldn't understand why the water wasn't staying in there. So while this is happening, there's some douchebag kid right here, because, you know, don't throw crap at the animals. There's always someone who doesn't listen. So this douchebag kid is reaching in his cup, and he's got a piece of ice, and he throws it at the orangutan. But the orangutan, guys, and I'm not even exaggerating, the orangutan, without looking up from his science experiment, without looking up from this, he reaches up, you can't see that, he reaches up, grabs the ice out of the air, and eats it. Doesn't even look. It's just orangutan sense. The kid does it again. The orangutan grabs it again. It's like, yes! So I love orangutans. So probably an orangutan, just because I really like orangutans. They just hang around and, you know, I don't know. I like them. Like, I will stand there for an hour looking at the orangutans waiting for them to move. And I love when they're, like, you know, arm over arm on their the ropes between their tall, like, stations. I love orangutans. Boosh. Number 21, what old person thing do you do? I talk about how the youth of America is ruining everything. But this is something old people have done forever. We have actual Roman graffiti of older Romans complaining about how the youth are ruining society. So, I mean, that's just something that happens when you get old. I do crossword puzzles. My wife always laughs at me when I'm sitting. I'll sit in, like, with a really intense look on my face, my tongue like with a blanket over me, like doing a crossword puzzle, and she thinks I look like an old person, which is fine. Like, I don't care. I love crossword puzzles. I don't like to leave my house after like 8 p.m. I don't go to bed early like an old person, but I also watch Golden Girls.
Quiet, you trash!
I get excited when my wife buys me socks, because I only wear Bombas socks now because they're so comfortable, and like I wear socks all the time. Like, I have socks on, like, unless I'm like in the water, I'm wearing socks. So I have to have like comfortable socks, and change my life. So I really like socks. I complain about how terrible my students' music is. I complain about what they wear. I complain about the crap they watch on TV. You know, that's the kind of old person stuff that I do. Just standard stuff. Boosh. Number 22, do you have a hidden talent? Not really. I am obscenely good at memorizing lines. I'm really good at, like, I have twice been called in, like, with a week and a half left of a production because they knew that I could memorize my lines and blocking like right before dress rehearsal, even not having been involved in the process. I'm just good at memorizing facts, and that's my autism secret power. But that's really it. I can't really do anything else. So I'm really good at trivia. Like, I don't really associate with my colleagues at work because, I mean, like, what do we have in common other than we are teachers? But this year, at the freaking in-service before school started, there were 3 trivia games, like, that we played on our phone up there, because, you know, it's like, oh, ice break, team breaking. But as soon as I heard trivia, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I am now interested in this in-service that is being had. Because otherwise, it's like, well, make sure that you're putting in 2 grades every week, and that you've got at least 4 summative grades, or 3, preferably 4, and I'm just like, snooze. But then it said trivia, and it was just random crap. And so, just crushed my colleagues. So fun, just, and then, so I won a gift card. And then the next day we did it again, at the beginning of the day. I won another gift card. It was amazing. And then at the end of the day, they did really hard trivia, and everyone's like, can Walker not play? And I'm like, rude? Like, what the heck? And they would not show us the scores. They're like, well, there's only 3 people got 5 out of 10 correct. Like, that's the most amount anybody got, was 5 out of 10 correct. And there were 3 people that did it, and Walker was one of them. I'm like, I know Walker was one of them. Like, I'm good at trivia. This is my only skill. And they wouldn't show us the scores. They're like, but, because it's one of these where you get more points if you buzz in faster. And so they're like, but this person won. And I was like, I'm like, that's fine. Like, I don't care. Like, I wasn't going to take a 3rd gift card. Get out of here. I didn't care who got it. But I did need to know. So I was just like, can I just look at the scores? Like, I'd love to see, like, how much I lost by, like, how much faster they were than me. They wouldn't show me. They wouldn't show me. And I'm like, oh, okay. I understand. It's whatever. I love trivia, guys. So that's my secret power is trivia games. Oh, also, if you ever played Egyptian Rat Screw, which is like Egyptian War, where, you know, you flip and you slap on doubles and stuff. I used to play that a lot with my kids. And then but I've never lost to any of my students because I would just like play, you know, having fun with the kids on like free days. And then I would get down to like, you know, 3 cards, and I cannot lose. I cannot lose to a child. Like, no, I can't. So all of a sudden, like, I go into an autism trance, and then just the cards move in slow motion, and bah, 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 and then I can slap anything. And I came back and won. So that I don't play that anymore because I'm afraid I may have lost my trance powers. But I schooled some kids in ERS back in the day. Oh, we're almost done, guys. Home stretch. Boosh. Number 23. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I don't know. I hate this question. I hate it in interviews. I don't like it in job interviews. I don't like it now. I don't know. I don't have that ability to think that far in the future. I can't do it. I see myself still married to my wonderful wife, and I hope that in 5 years I am not in the classroom because it is too taxing on my mental and physical health, and it takes away too much time from things that I should be enjoying while I am young enough to enjoy them. I would love to spend more time with my wife, to spend more time with my friends, rather than being like, well, if I do anything that I want to do, I will not be able to do my job tomorrow. And that is extremely frustrating because I love my students, and what I teach I love. And seeing when I get a good group, which is not always, it is very rewarding to have them. I have a really good group this year for 2 of the classes, and then my Latin 1s, my first years, don't even start. But when you have kids that get it and care and, you know, aren't whiners and have some integrity and personal responsibility, it's fantastic. And I love it, but then something from outside comes and it just messes everything up. So I don't want to be in the classroom anymore. And really no one should. Every teacher should quit and find something else to do. And then when the public school system implodes, then they will have no choice but to fix it. Because remember, that's how we do things here. It's pass the buck. Someone else will pay for it, right? Don't fix a bridge until it collapses. Then, you know, because move it down the road. Someone else's problem. Then they can get in trouble for having to spend money on something. I don't want to be in the classroom, but I don't know what I can be doing. And so it is my hope that in 5 years I will be doing something that I am passionate about that also allows me to take care of myself and my family. So yeah, that's what I hope. I also hope, I hope that we have children by that point. Maybe, who knows? And then I have a house, which is, you know, what a fantastic time to buy a house while they're $800 million for a 1-bedroom. Oh, timing, man. So that's where it is. I'm not really good at these questions. I don't really understand what I'm supposed to say. Boosh. Number 24, this is the last one that isn't a tag. Share an item and tell us its significance. Like a bookish item? Oh, I got it. Right here. So, this, oh, he doesn't have batteries. Dang it. This is my Luffy clock. You may have seen him in the back. I've explained what this thing was, like, long ago, like, really early on in my channel. Luffy here, and I'll probably have him play out on the outro. I have been watching One Piece for 20 years, since before Alabasta was done, which is the first, like, major arc. You know, off and on. Like, I just love One Piece. I always have. Like, I just really enjoy the unbreakability of Luffy's spirit and the fact that he, like, it's very black and white. Like, morality is very black and white for Luffy. He's going to save his friends, and no matter what. And it doesn't matter how dangerous. Like, oh, we don't have a plan? Who cares? We'll figure it out. And so, when I went to Japan in 2008, each of us had a homestay visit where we stayed for like not a week, maybe like 4 or 5 days with the Japanese family. And this was the only time we were separated, the 5 of us students that went the whole time. And I was super nervous because I can't eat a lot of Japanese food, but fortunately, the liaison had passed that on and they were super nice. They had a lot of meat and cheese and they were like, vegetable, okay? And, you know, I'd be like, no, dame. And they're like, oh, because they knew. So they just laugh about it. So they would just give me a bunch of meat and cheese. But I talked to the kids. There were 2 elementary school kids. I talked to them about One Piece. And when I was leaving, the older one went into his room, got his Luffy alarm clock. This is his alarm clock, and he gave it to me because he knew how much I loved One Piece. And it's super awesome. So I've had this for 13 years now. I don't know where the bottom of this went, and it usually has batteries in it. But like the day is in Japanese. The time is in Arabic numerals. But like the day and month and the AM and PM, that's in Japanese. But when it goes off, he screams at you, and he screams, "Get up!" He goes, "Okino! Okino!" And it plays like, which I guess is the third opening, and he goes, "Okino!" And he screams at you in Japanese to get up. And so this is one of my prized possessions. I love this thing a lot. So check out the outro, and I'll make sure I play him with the outro. Woof. Anyway, so guys, I guess in question 25, tag some people. So these are actually interesting questions. I'm gonna tag Dr. Philip Chase because I know he hasn't done this one, and I'm calling it right here. Using my psychic powers, name some movies and TV shows that are your favorite. He's gonna say, I don't have a TV. I don't watch TV because he doesn't. Philip doesn't watch TV. But he probably has favorite movies. So, Philip, because I would love to know if he had, like, a tweed, like, footy pajamas when he was a kid or something. Who else? Sarah from Sarah Reads. And I'm going to tag 2 more. Mike from Mike's Book Reviews, because, Mike, I'm tagging you. You say I don't tag you. I'm tagging you now. And then, you know who else I'm going to tag? I'm going to tag Inquisitor Jake from Jake Bishop. Because I would love to see his Inquisitor origin story. So guys, this is too long, but 25 questions about why I think the way I do and the things that I enjoy or don't enjoy. Again, if you've seen Emperor's Club, please respond down below and tell me, because it is one of my favorite movies of all time. I just love it. So if you have anything else, if you have any other comments on anything I've said, I've forgotten all the things I've said that isn't douchebaggy, please tell me down in the comments. If you have something douchey to say, maybe keep it to yourself. Guys, I hope you enjoyed these videos. As always, information about my Patreon and Discord is down in the description, and I'll see you next time, guys.
Yes!